What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. In today's video, we're going to be jumping into I think a discussion here about what's going on with the recent events. And I was thinking about it yesterday as I was making my Spider Epic team, and I realized that Plarium kind of has gone a little bit too far with some of these current events. So let's break it down. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's start a discussion. I don't want this to be like totally like a rant video, but it's going to be maybe a little bit more of a harsher tone because I don't think this is a very good thing for most of the player base. But yeah, let's talk about it in this video. So let's jump right into it. Okay, guys, so let's first start off with the Sand Devil tournament that we just had a couple days ago now. And we all realized that Plarium, they nerfed the Sand Devil, made the Sand Devil with less stats, made him easier to kill, but the mechanics of the dungeon are still very much not very friendly for players. It basically relies on revive on death, or relies on bursting the boss down before he takes a turn. So it's basically the same strategies. It's just depending on how quick you can do it. You might be able to do it a little bit quicker in terms of time, but the overall cost of these events have gone significantly up. So for example, this final milestone here, it cost me 64 or probably just over 6,300 points. I forgot exactly how much it was, but to put this in perspective, a Godseeker Nut team, which is the fastest Godseeker version, that's about over 3,000 energy just on the Godseeker team. And if you have a worse team, you'd probably, it's going to be significantly more. And if you have the best version, which is like a Seafeed Nut team, it's still going to cost you about 2,500 energy. Overall, I think the energy cost for this event has gone up, which is a definite negative for most people. So it makes these events harder. However, having the stats lower on the Sand Devil, I guess, gives more people access to the resources. Maybe even then, the mechanics are the same. So I think Plarium definitely missed the ball on the whole Sand Devil thing. And then the increasing of the tournament rewards here is pretty significant. Just for like a regular like event dungeon. I understand that this prism is not for everybody, but I feel like the spend for it is significantly high, especially when you're talking about like just a normal Godseeker Nut team, which is like a budget good team. It's still going to cost you over 3,000 energy just to get this final milestone. So first, this event is definitely very, very expensive now. Let's move on to the turn attack tournaments. So we've been talking a lot about these turn attack tournaments lately because it's been a little bit of a surprise, let's say. So the reward structure for the dragon turn attack, this 80 points here was 4,400 points. To put that in perspective, I was doing dragon 20 at about two-ish points per energy. So this 80 points here is about 22 to 2,300 energy, which is basically the equivalent of doing like a fusion fragment event, for example. In this case, it's 80 points. That's not the problem, the energy spent. The problem is how restrictive these epic only tournaments are. I'm doing dragon 20, with pretty deep roster and all that. I could definitely optimize and maybe do dragon hard, but even on dragon hard, it was about 2.5 energy, 2.5 points per energy. So at 4,400 total points, and then you need, and you're getting 2.5, it's going to cost you 1,760 energy to get the Titan points, which is still pretty expensive considering that you have a super optimized team with the 2.5 point per energy team. Keep in mind, like, the energy spend for this, if it was a regular dungeon, is totally fine, or even just a regular turn attack dungeon, but a turn attack epic dungeon makes it significantly more restrictive. Many people can't do this, and then you're out of luck, right? You're out of 80 coins. You're out of 80 of these Titan points. And that's another problem here because Plarium put 80 points into one of these tournaments. It's significantly more than the previous events where they were putting, I believe, 50 points. 50 points in a tournament. So more is at stake with each one of these epic dungeon events. And we know that there's going to be more coming right here. So you got the Ice Golem coming as well. And then you also have the Fire Knight coming down the pipeline for the schedule. So we're going to be looking at more of these epic only tournaments, which are very, very restrictive for players, especially if they don't have the super thick rosters. So hopping over to the Spider Turn Attack, same can be said over here. It's 5,700 points. And unless you have a super optimized team, so right now I have a 10 turn hard 10 team, and that's doing about 3.65 points per energy, which means I'm going to spend about 1,600 energy to get the job done here. And that's a super optimized epic only team, guys. Let me put that straight there. Super optimized. So if you have a less optimized team, you're looking at about if you're looking at about 2 points per energy, like this point Titan points here is going to cost you about 2,800 energy. I mean, if we're spending 2,800 energy per dungeon event, that's a pretty big jump from previous fusion events where you're spending like, you know, around 2,300 energy if you want to be very efficient. The energy spend for these epic only events have gone up, mainly because players just don't have super optimized teams for epics. I'm speaking as a pretty end game player. I can build basically any team like I want to be as efficient as possible. But even for me, it's kind of like, well, I'm still having to spend all this time, you know, building this team. Sometimes I have to dig a champion out, which I have to build straight up. And even for me, it's like, it's not, you know, a given. But for players that don't have that level of roster, these events are totally out of the question for them to do efficiently. Like, even if you're doing something like 2 points per energy, it's not very efficient. That would probably be like the minimum type of team you need to do this in a reasonable amount of time. Like I said, a 2 point per energy team, you're still looking at 2,800 spend here, which is just an extra stressor for people because it's just more expensive. It's more restrictive, so now it's more gated for more people. I don't fully understand who these events are targeted at. And now we're looking at a champion chase tournament here with Ninja for a 6-star soul, but only for the winner. So imagine if they did that for like, I don't know, imagine if they did that for other login champions that everyone got, where they give basically nobody the opportunity to win this soul. Yes, it's a 6-star soul. Yes, that is a massive prize for somebody. I was thinking Ninja would be very beneficial for everybody if they offered like a 5-star soul for him. Even if they offered it up as a some kind of event where they had to pay like up to 20 sacreds worth of shards, his soul would be very good, and especially for all those people that just got him, it's a big boost, right? But here, this chase event is really bad, just in terms of overall player sentiment, because nobody can really reasonably get this. I can only think that Plarium is trying to extract, obviously as much money in a one-time thing for him. Maybe they have analytics that show that Champion Chase has produced pretty good results. Maybe they had this happen for the Archer. I believe the Archer had a big soul for a Champion Chase. So I mentioned Archer because Archer was limited as well, limited champion as well. So I figured maybe they have some analytics that show people go so super crazy for like exclusives or something. I don't know, but this this really rubs me the wrong way. Okay, so at the end of it, it comes back to this Serpent Titan event. Personally, I don't think I think they're kind of missing the mark here. They're making these events significantly difficult, significantly restrictive. I think Mithrala being kind of like a free to play champion, I guess, because everybody can get Mithrala from the Hydra, right? Eventually. So everyone can get Mithrala from the Hydra eventually from any of these drop rewards. Just takes time, but everybody gets them. Wouldn't it have been nice if Plarium gave us everybody the opportunity to win Mithrala. The problem right now is that tournament, these epic tournaments do not allow everybody to get her. Not everyone will have the proper roster to handle these in any kind of reasonable way. Yes, you can do stage 5 or 6 or something like that, but you're not looking, but those stages aren't even overly efficient. That's the problem, right? So you're doing like a huge energy spend if you have some of the epics that can do like a super low stage. With that being said, if you manage to like miss all of these dungeon events, that's 320 points gone from your serpent event, which means you won't be able to get the 5-star soul. Ultimately, like, I feel like Plarium definitely missed the mark. I feel like some of the events are too hard, too restrictive. It's kind of, you're kind of thinking like, who are these events for? Krakens don't need a Mithrala soul, right? Krakens don't need this. You want to provide the opportunities for people to get the soul that, you know, will actually get some use out of it, right? In the general populace. Also, I feel this is probably the result of epic empowerment. They probably felt that after giving us, giving us this epic empowerment ability where we can empower our epics and so forth, they probably felt like epics were like, oh, epics are strong enough. They're strong as legendaries now. People can definitely do tournaments with them. Except they give us tournaments that are basically the hardest version of a tournament we've ever seen. Time attack tournaments are optimized teams. So even if you don't have an epic restriction on it, time attack is all about having, perfect teams optimized and all that stuff to minimize the amount of turns. When you're adding epic restrictions on top of time attack or turn attack, it becomes incredibly difficult for people to field proper teams to do those dungeons. So yeah, if Plarium had this as a normal dungeon and then it forced everyone to spend 22, 25, 2800 energy, that is way more acceptable than having people try to spend 25, 2800 energy with epic only. If they made it epic only, no turn attack, again, it would be a lot more reasonable. If it was turn attack only, then you can optimize your team with whatever champions, legendaries, and whatever. Again, way more reasonable. But putting them together makes them super restrictive. They're super expensive already, so there was no discount applied to the point totals. They're super expensive already. And I think it's unnecessary because we're playing for a Mithrala soul here, and this really just hurts people that would probably really benefit from having better souls, which would be most of the general population. I feel they missed the mark, to be honest. And I'm not a big fan of some of these energy spends. It feels very expensive, and I feel like, okay, fine, not everyone's supposed to get this stuff, but at least give people the chance to get this stuff. For example, like in fusions, even if you don't have the best team to do dungeon tournaments, all you have to do is find this right stage and then just spend the energy there. Here, it's like some people don't even have a chance to do it, to be honest. So anyways, guys, that's going to be a little bit of a rant on my part. I feel for you guys. I run another account, right? I have 2 accounts. One has more resources than the other. I definitely feel the pinch if you're trying to complete all of these events. So definitely feeling it, you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I think this is a kind of like a overarching issue that we've been seeing, that Plarium's kind of just always trying to set the boundaries on what they can make us do in terms of setting the mark, and then sometimes they pull it back, sometimes they don't, of course. But yeah, in this regards, it doesn't feel very good, and definitely the community outcry that I've been hearing, like at least in Discords and Reddit and all that stuff, makes it seem like it's obviously not a small issue, and it's definitely going to affect a lot of people, at least moving forward. So anyways, guys, that's it for me today. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all this. Let me know if you guys are still on track for the Mithrala Serpent event. And yeah, we're going to have a discussion about this. But yeah, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.